Your dad is rich and your mama's so good looking, babe. We'll get to that later, but it is summertime and it is a hot and steamy evening here in Hanoi. And we are just a few days shy of Bloomsday, which is coming up on the 16th, which is the second anniversary of my channel, which is yet to break. I don't think I even have 50 subscribers yet. I don't think I've read any of the analytics. I have no idea who has heard me, but anyway, I'm here, and I'm going to keep doing this. I can't finish that sentence. I'm just going to keep doing this. Of course, summertime as a teacher, there isn't as much work, and so today I wanted to talk a little bit about teaching English in Vietnam, because I actually got a comment and a request. It's rare that I get views, it's rare that I get comments, but someone wanted me to talk about teaching in Vietnam. And I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, and the fact is, I'm really not the person to ask. And let me clarify that, because my career path has been very different from most people who I meet out here. And one thing that I constantly return to is just the number of people I've met here who are from middle class and upper class backgrounds, who are leaving behind what are otherwise just very vanilla, very ordinary family lives. They haven't really risen out of the muck in the same way that I have. You know, I grew up very poor, had a lot of problems when I was a kid. Still, I'm influenced by some of these demons, these adverse childhood score things, this ACE thing. But I'm not going to talk about all of that in much detail. But the fact is, you know, when I got to Korea, which was my first place, I had been in trouble with the law, and I had had some medical concerns. And I was poor, and I was a first-generation college grad. And so when I look at all these factors, I might meet some of these people who meet these boxes, who tick these boxes, who have been through these things. But I can't think of anyone, of the thousands of other teachers that I've met, from many different nationalities and so on. I can't really think of anyone who has had a background at all similar to mine, you know. Not only that, but when I first got to Korea, I was savagely attacked. And this was not long. It was like a month into my first overseas teaching gig that I was hospitalized for a considerable time and for a considerable expense and lots of surgery, having been attacked by some Korean men. That's all I know about the situation. You'll read about it in my book someday. As far as Vietnam, gosh, you know, I've been teaching English, well, on and off through college, more than 10 years, but I guess overseas now for over 10 years. And it's been, what, 6 countries? This is my 5th or 6th country that I've been to. And everywhere you go, the ESL market is a bit different. You know, I could make long videos about Saudi Arabia, about Korea, about China, how it's all different. But we're going to focus today on Vietnam, getting a job out here, what it's like, what you need. First of all, you know, I have a master's degree, but you don't have to have that. It's very rare that I meet anyone with that qualification, and most people who have that qualification are doing much better with their careers right now than I am. For me, it's been sort of a Peter Principle thing, where I've gotten so far ahead on just this that it's sort of like, well, you rise to the point where you are the least incompetent, then you stay there. And I'm staying there, and hopefully no employers are watching this. The great thing is there is such a demand for teachers Vietnam that it's so easy to find jobs. And I think in my 3 years that I've been here, I've had many, many jobs, just part-time things. And if you can handle just freelancing it, that's the way to go. But when you first get to Vietnam, as an American, you do need a work permit. And to get a work permit, you do have to work for a place for a few months. And you have to get a residency card. But once you've got that magic blue residency card, you can just find other jobs. And you're pretty much fine. As long as you keep up with getting your residence card, you're fine. And whatever job you're doing, even if it's just some chain job, there's Apex, there's Ivy Prep, there's Language Link, there's... I can't even name them all. There are so many. And they're always being replaced and renewed and refreshed, and so you can always find a new one if whatever you're doing doesn't work out. You don't really need any qualifications apart from, you know, a degree can help, but as long as you get like a basic teaching TEFL certification, that can get you pretty much any job. And that's even if you're not a native English speaker. So I must say that life out here is really on easy street. And don't come here if you're really ambitious or trying to conquer the world, because I don't think that's what people accomplish out here. I think this is more of a extended holiday. It feels like it feels like retirement almost. It feels like I've just decided to slow down and just take it easy. And you know, to an extent, I've gotten sick of it. But we'll see where I go next and what I do next. But I've been threatening to pick up and leave for a long time, and here it is, 3 years. And when I was younger, when I started the ESL gig, and whoever's watching this, if this is your first time doing it, you know, it seems different. There's definitely a difference between the younger class and the older class. But like as a young person, you know, not fresh out of college, but in my early 20s coming out to Korea, you know, I'd meet these older people in their 40s and 50s and 60s who had just stayed overseas for long amounts of time and just worked doing that, and just you know, they didn't intend on going overseas for more than a year. More than 2 years. No one ever does. But to a point, you get hooked on the lifestyle. You come out to Vietnam, you come out to even China or Korea, and you find out that the rules are different and they don't apply to you in the same way as they apply to the locals. Without getting too weird or sordid talking about any of that stuff. But yeah, teaching's easy. You know English. Just use English. Just explain it the best you can. And understand that after you've been overseas for a while, you will start to lose your own English, which is why you need things like literature to keep you going, which is why you need to make videos or do blogs or whatever just to keep your language skills up to par, which is why you notice that you forget easy words talking to people, or you speak very slowly, which is something I get accused of when I'm talking to Vietnamese people. That's all natural. We all go through that. Also consider that you go through culture shock, which is, in a broad sense, a U-curve, where you first get to a place and you're very excited about it, and then after a while you kind of resent it, and you think, oh, this is terrible, I want to go home. And then finally you readjust and find your way. So I don't know what else to say. You have to be independent. You have to be someone who takes care of yourself. But and that's kind of a low threshold, honestly. And you have to be willing. I mean, the scariest part about doing this is just getting on the plane. If you can get your passport and get on the plane, then all I can say is welcome to Easy Street. Over and out.